Welcome to CSE Guru. In this session, we will discuss a problem in process scheduling. The problem is, consider the following set of process with the CPU burst time and priority are given. They have given 5 processes with respective burst time and priority. The processes are assumed to have arrived in the order P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 all at time 0. So arrival time for all the process will be 0 milliseconds. Draw 4 Gantt charts that illustrate the execution of these processes using the following scheduling algorithms: FCFS, SJF, non-preemptive priority. So here we have to consider a smaller priority number implies a higher priority. So 1 is the highest priority. And round robin scheduling with time quantum 1 millisecond. So we need to implement the first come first served scheduling algorithm, shortest job first algorithm, non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, and round robin scheduling algorithm. Next, what is the turnaround time of each process for each of the scheduling algorithm in part A? Then, what is the waiting time of each process for each of the scheduling algorithm? Which of the algorithm results in the minimum average waiting time overall process? So first we need to construct the Gantt chart for all this given algorithm, and then we need to find the turnaround time for each process in each algorithm, and then we need to find the waiting time for each process in each algorithm, and then we need to identify the minimum average time, that is which algorithm results in minimum average waiting time. Now we will solve the problem. The first question in the problem is, construct the Gantt chart for FCFS, SJF, non-preemptive priority and round robin scheduling algorithm. So now we will construct the Gantt chart for all the algorithm. First is FCFS scheduling algorithm. So FCFS scheduling algorithm is nothing but which process enters into the job queue first, and that process will be assigned to the CPU for execution first. The process will be executed with the CPU in the job queue order. So here if you are considering the process P1 enters into the job queue first, so process P1 will be executed with the CPU first, and the burst time for process P1 is 10 milliseconds. Next is process P2 with the burst time 1 millisecond. And next is process P3 with the burst time 2 millisecond. So 11 plus 2 it is 13. Next is process P4 with 1 millisecond. It is 14. Next process P5 with 5 millisecond. Totally it is 19. So the process has arrived in the order P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, and in FCFS scheduling it has executed in the same order P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5. Next is shortest job first algorithm. Shortest job first algorithm is nothing but which process is having the least CPU burst time, that process will be assigned to the CPU for execution first. All the process has entered into the job queue at the time 0 millisecond. So all the process will be available at 0 millisecond itself. So now we have to consider which process is having the least CPU burst time, that will be allowed to execute with the CPU first in shortest job first algorithm. So if you are considering here, process P2 and process P4 is having least CPU burst time. So since both the processes having the same CPU burst time, we need to consider the FCFS order for these two processes. Here, process P2 enters into the job queue first, and then only the process P4 has entered into the job queue. So first we will assign process P2 to execute with the CPU. So process P2 will execute with the CPU for 1 millisecond. And then the next least CPU burst time, if you are considering, it is P4, that is same CPU burst time. So next is process P4 will execute with the CPU for 1 millisecond. Totally it is 2. Next, if you are considering process P3 with 2 millisecond, process P3 with 2 millisecond, total it is 4. And next, if you are considering process P5 with 5 millisecond, and next process P1 with 10 millisecond. So totally 19. Next is non-preemptive priority scheduling. So all the process has arrived into the job queue at 0 milliseconds, and priority also we know. For all the process, a priority number is assigned. So based on the priority number, which process is having the highest priority, and that process will be assigned to the CPU for execution first. Non-preemption is nothing but once the process is assigned to the CPU for execution, till it completes its execution, we cannot able to suspend the ongoing process with the CPU. The assigned process will complete its execution and then only it will leave the CPU. That is non-preemption. And in the problem itself, they have given the smallest number is having the highest priority. So here smallest number is 1 and the process is P2. So first process P2 will execute with the CPU and the burst time is 1. Next, if you are considering process P5 is having the next highest priority. Process P5 and then the CPU burst time is 5. And next, if you are considering process P1 and P3 both are having equal priority. When more than one process is having the equal priority, we have to consider the FCFS scheduling. Among this process P1 and P3, which process has entered into the job queue first, that will be assigned to the CPU first. So obviously process P1 enters into the job queue first and next only P3 enters into the job queue. So process P1 will be assigned to the CPU next. And the CPU burst time is 10 milliseconds. So totally it is 16. And the next is P3. P3 with 2 milliseconds. So totally 18. And the next highest priority is process P4 with the burst time 1 millisecond. The next algorithm is round robin scheduling algorithm with the time quantum they have given as 1 millisecond. In round robin scheduling algorithm, the time quantum will be given. So all the process will execute with the CPU only for this time quantum period. Once the time quantum is over, the scheduler will dispatch the process and assign the next process in the job queue for execution. So likewise, each process will execute with the CPU only for the specified time quantum. That is round robin scheduling. So the process order in the job queue is P1, P2, P3, P4 and P5. So in this same order, the process will be assigned to the CPU for execution for the specified time quantum. And once the CPU burst time is over means that particular process will leave the job queue. And the remaining process will execute with the CPU based on round robin scheduling. So initially, process P1 will execute for 1 millisecond and the next process is process P2 will execute for 1 millisecond. Next process P3 will execute for 1 millisecond and process P4 will execute for 1 millisecond and then process P5 also will execute for 1 millisecond. Now all the process has completed 1 millisecond of execution time with the CPU. Now if you are considering process P2 has completed its execution and process P4 has completed its execution. It is a circular queue. So the circular queue now it will move to the first process in the job queue. So now the order is process P1, P3 and P5. So process P1 will execute for 1 millisecond and process P3 will execute for 1 millisecond. Process P5 will execute for 1 millisecond. So now if you are considering all the process, again it has completed 1 millisecond. So process P1 requires the remaining execution time is 8 millisecond. It has completed 2 millisecond of execution time. Now process P2 has Now process P3 has completed its execution. Now process P3 also will leave the job queue. And next the queue order is process P1 and P5. So next is process P1 will execute with the CPU for 1 millisecond and process P5 for 1 millisecond. Next, again process P1 1 millisecond, process P5 1 millisecond. So now process P1 has completed 4 millisecond of execution time. It requires totally 10 millisecond, and process P5 if you are considering it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it requires only 1 more millisecond to complete its execution. So next order is process P1 with 1 millisecond. Next process P5 with 1 millisecond. Now if you are considering process P5 has completed its execution. Now process P5 also will leave the job queue. Next, process P1 requires 5 more millisecond to complete its execution. Now process P1 also completes its execution. Now all the process has completed its execution with the CPU based on round robin scheduling. We have constructed the Gantt chart for all the algorithm, that is FCFS, SJF, non-preemptive priority and round robin scheduling. The second and third question in the given problem is we need to find the turnaround time and waiting time for all the process in each of the algorithm. First, for FCFS scheduling algorithm, we will find the turnaround time and waiting time. So already we have constructed the Gantt chart for FCFS scheduling algorithm. Now we will find the completion time for each process. Completion time is nothing but the time when the process completes its execution with the CPU. For each process, the left hand side value shows the starting time and the right hand side value shows the completion time. So the completion time for process P1 is 10 milliseconds, process P2 is 11, P3 is 13 and P4 is 14, P5 is 19. So for process P1 it is 10, P2 it is 11, P3 it is 13, P4 it is 14 and P5 it is 19. Next we need to find the turnaround time. Turnaround time is nothing but the time when the process enters into the job queue and when it completes its execution. This time interval is nothing but the turnaround time. The turnaround time we can able to calculate with the formula completion time minus arrival time. But the arrival time for all the processes given as 0 millisecond. So since the arrival time is 0 millisecond for all the process, the completion time itself will be the turnaround time. Next we need to find the waiting time. Waiting time is nothing but how long each process waits in the job queue before it is assigned to the CPU for execution. The waiting time we can able to calculate with the formula turnaround time minus burst time. Turnaround time we have calculated and burst time is given in the problem itself. So for process P1, the waiting time is 10 minus 10. It is 0. For process P2, it is 11 minus 1. It is 10. Process P3, it is 13 minus 2. It is 11. Process P4, it is 14 minus 1. Process P5, it is 19 minus 5. Next, we need to find the average turnaround time and average waiting time. Average turnaround time is nothing but sum of the turnaround time of all the process, that is 67, divided by number of process is 5. So the average turnaround time is 13.4 milliseconds. Next, the average waiting time is sum of the waiting time of all the process, that is 48, divided by number of processes 5. It is 9.6 milliseconds. Next, we will find the turnaround time and the waiting time for each process in SJF algorithm. First, we will find the completion time. So, the completion time for process P1 is 19 milliseconds. And for process P2, it is 1. Process P3, it is 4. Process P4, it is 2. And process P5, it is 9. Since the arrival time for all the process has given us 0 millisecond, the completion time itself will be the turnaround time. Next, we will find the waiting time. So, waiting time is nothing but turnaround time minus burst time. So, for process P1, 19 minus 10 it is 9. For process P2 it is 1 minus 1, 0. Process P3 4 minus 2. Process P4 it is 2 minus 1. And process P5 it is 9 minus 5. Next we will find the average turnaround time and the average waiting time. The average turnaround time is nothing but sum of the turnaround time for all the process divided by number of process. And sum of the turnaround time is 35 divided by number of processes 5. So it is 7 millisecond. And the waiting time, average waiting time is sum of the waiting time is 16 divided by number of processes 5. So it is 3.2 milliseconds. Next, we need to find the turnaround time and waiting time for each process based on non-preemptive priority algorithm. So the completion time is for process P1 it is 16, process P2 it is 1, process P3 it is 18, process P4 it is 19, and process P5 it is 6. Turnaround time we can able to calculate with the formula completion time minus arrival time. Since the arrival time for all the processes is 0, completion time itself will be the turnaround time. Next we need to find the waiting time. Waiting time is nothing but turnaround time minus burst time. For process P1 it is 16 minus 10. Process P2 it is 1 minus 1. Process P3 18 minus 2. Process P4 it is 19 minus 1. Process P5 it is 6 minus 5. Next we need to find the average turnaround time and the average waiting time. Average turnaround time is nothing but sum of the turnaround time for all the process divided by number of process. Sum of the turnaround time is 60 divided by number of processes 5. So average turnaround time is 12. And average waiting time is sum of the waiting time of all the processes 41 divided by number of processes 5. So it is 8.2 milliseconds. Next we need to find the turnaround time and the waiting time for round robin scheduling. So the completion time is for process P1, starting time is 0 but it has completed its execution at 19 milliseconds. And for process P2 it is 2. And for process P3 it is 7. That is totally burst time is 2. So 2 times it has executed here. So it is 7. And process P4 it is 4. So process P5 the burst time is 5 milliseconds. So 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the completion time is 14. Next, turnaround time we can able to calculate with the formula completion time minus arrival time. Since arrival time for all the processes is 0, the completion time itself will be the turnaround time. Next, we need to find the waiting time for each process. Waiting time is nothing but turnaround time minus burst time. So turnaround time for process P1 is 19, burst time is 10. So 19 minus 10 it is 9. For process P2, 2 minus 1. Process P3, 7 minus 2. Process P4 it is 4 minus 1. And process P5 it is 14 minus 5. Next, average turnaround time. So sum of the turnaround time is 46 divided by number of processes 5. So it is 9.2 milliseconds. And average waiting time is sum of the waiting time is 27 divided by number of processes 5. So it is 5.4 milliseconds. The last question in this problem is which of the algorithm provides the minimum average waiting time? So the average waiting time for FCFS algorithm is 9.6 milliseconds and the average waiting time for SJF algorithm is 3.2 milliseconds and the average waiting time for non-preemptive priority scheduling algorithm is 8.2 milliseconds and the average waiting time for round robin scheduling algorithm is 5.4 milliseconds. Among these four algorithms, so the shortest job first algorithm provides the minimum average waiting time, that is 3.2 milliseconds. Thank you for watching this video.